All right, we are solving square root equations. We're still dealing with square roots, but we're solving equations. We're going to have an x in our equation. We're solving for x. So this is an example, kind of gives us a step-by-step of what we need to do. Step 1 is isolate the radical. We want to get whatever that radical is all by itself. So this is step 1. And then to eliminate the radical, we raise each side to the nth power. So whatever root we take, that n, whatever our index is, we do the opposite, which is use that exponent, but the same number, and raise each side to that number. So it'll make more sense when we start to do it in examples, you'll see. So example 1, step 1, isolate the radical. So how do we get this radical to be all by itself? Awesome. We're going to move that 3 to the other side, so we subtract both sides by 3. So we have the square root of 2x minus 3 is equal to, what's 8 minus 3? 5. What's our index on this radical? What's that little number that is out there? 2. Remember, when nothing's there, it's 2. So we want to use that exponent of 2. So we square both sides, and that gets rid of this radical. So squaring the left side just cancels the radical out. So we're left with 2x minus 3 on the left and 5 squared on the right. What is 5 squared? 25. So it's 5 to the second power, which is 5 times 5, 25. Now we just solve for x. From here, it's easy peasy. We know how to do this. What should we do next? Add 3. So 2x is equal to, what's 25 plus 3? 28. What's next?
14.
Divide by 2, and we get x is equal to 14. Perfect. So the left side, just whatever was on the inside here, it stayed the same here. So the inside part just stayed the same. We have to square both sides to keep our equation balanced. So we square this side to get rid of the radical, but if we square the left side, we have to square the right side also. So that's why we have to square the 5 also. So that's where that 25 came in, because that's 5 squared. So here we don't have a radical, but we do have this exponent that has a fraction. So it's technically like a radical. So how can we get this x plus 1 to the 2/3 power all by itself? We don't want to distribute the 3. We want to move it to the other side. So how can we move that 3 to the other side?
I think I have it written down, right?
Divide
I
it.
have it written down, right?
We divide both sides by 3. Because 3 is being multiplied to this whole thing. What's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So we divide both sides by 3, so it'll cancel out on the left side. And then we're just left with x plus 1 to the 2/3 power. And that's equal to, what's 12 divided by 3? 4. Now whenever we have an exponent that is a fraction, it's kind of like a radical, but we want to keep that exponent, but the reciprocal of it. So here we see we have x to the 2/3 power. The reciprocal is the flip of it. So we multiply, or we raise it to the exponent of the 3/2 power. So we keep it as an exponent, but the flip of it. Because then this cancels it out, and we're just left with x. So what is the flip of 2/3? 3/2. Whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other. The flip cancels it out on the left side. So we're just left with whatever's on the inside, which is x plus 1. Now over here, on the right side of our equation, we have to figure out what 4 to the 2/3 power is. So what is our index here? If we put this into a radical, what number would go out front? 2. Whatever's on the bottom is our index. 4 stays on the inside, 3 stays up top. What are 2 factors of 4? 2 and 2. We're circling groups of what here? Groups of 2. So a 2 comes out. We still have that 3 on top, so it's 2 to the 3rd power. What's 2 to the 3rd power? 8. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So this is equal to 8. And then from here, we just need to solve for x. So what should we do next? Subtract 1. Perfect. So x is equal to what? 7. Why did I divide what? Because 3 was being multiplied up here at the top. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So I had to divide both sides by 3 to get it to cancel. Remember, whatever you do on one side of the equation, you have to do on the other. Ready for the next one? All right. So what is the solution of 3 times the 5th root of x plus 1 to the 3rd power plus 1 is equal to 25? So we want to isolate our radical. We want to get this all by itself. So what should we do first to get that all by itself? Before we do that, what should we do? Subtract 1. So we have 3 to the 5th root of x plus 1 to the 3rd power is equal to 24. Now what should we do? Divide by 3. Perfect. 3 is being multiplied to that radical, so we do the opposite. So we divide. So we have the 5th root of x plus 1 to the 3rd power is equal to, what's 24 divided by 3? 8. So now for the left side, we have a radical and an exponent. How would I change this to be x plus 1 to some exponent? What would my exponent up top here be if I got rid of the radical and put it into exponential form? You did this on the test yesterday. But what's up top? So 3 over 5. So the index goes on the bottom, and whatever's on top stays on top. Now, how do I get rid of that 3 over 5 exponent? Multiply it by the reciprocal, so the flip of it, so 5 over 3. What else do I have to do? Raise the 8 to the power of 5 over 3. So whatever we do on one side, you have to do to the other. On the left side, these are going to cancel. So we have x plus 1. And on the right side, we have 8 to the power of 5 over 3. So let's figure out what 8 to the power of 5 over 3 is. What's our index here? What number goes outside of our radical, out front? 3. 8's on the inside and 5's up top. What are factors of 8? 4 and 2. And factors of 4? 2 and 2. We're circling groups of what? Groups of 3. Awesome, because we have 3 2's. So we have 2 to the 5th power. What's 2 to the 5th power? 32. because 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 4 is 16, 16 times 2 is 32. So this is equal to 32. X plus 1 is equal to 32. What do we have to do next? Subtract the 1. Perfect. So what's x equal to? 31. Awesome. Add 3. We want to isolate our radical, so move that 3 to the other side. So we have the square root of 4x minus 23 is equal to 5. Now we want to get rid of that radical there. What's our index out front? 2. So whatever our index is, we raise it to that power, 2. If we do that on the left side, what do we have to do on the right side? Put the 2 over the 5. So 5 to the second power. Perfect. 5 to the second power is 25. What happens on the left side? They cancel. So then we're just left with everything on the inside, which is 4x minus 23. What do we do next? Add 23 to both sides. What's 25 plus 23? 48. So 4x is equal to 48. What do we do next? Divide 4. So x is equal to what? 12. Perfect. What should we do first here? Minus 3. So negative cubed root of x is equal to negative 3. What should we do next? Awesome. We want to get rid of that negative out front because we need to isolate the radical, so we divide both sides by negative 1. So that cancels that out. So we have the cubed root of x is equal to, what's negative 3 divided by negative 1? 3. Now the cubed root of x, how do we get rid of that cubed root? What's our index? Awesome. Put it to the third power. What we do on one side, got to do the other. So what happens on the left? They cancel. So x is equal to 3 to the third power. 27. Perfect. 3 to the third power is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27.